The system crumbles, sending the CEO into a frenzy, until the concierge's daughter reveals the truth behind it all. We'd love to hear from you. Please share the country you're tuning in from. It all began one morning when the company's focus was palpable in the atmosphere. The screens flickered, the servers sounded alarms, and the company's central system, which managed million-dollar operations globally, ceased to respond. Within moments, individuals across the organization started to dash, to shout, to feel a chill of anxiety wash over them. Amidst the turmoil, a refined gentleman, with tousled hair and a visage shaped by time, stepped into the server room. His eyes alert and wide. The CEO was acutely aware that with each passing second, the company was hemorrhaging thousands of dollars. What on earth is happening here? He let out a furious shout, forcefully slamming the door shut. No one had a definitive response. The engineers found themselves at an impasse, their fingers quivering above the keyboards. Residents in your vicinity merely echoed that the system had been undermined from within, suggesting it was as though someone had intentionally disrupted the internal directives. The CEO was unwilling to entertain that possibility, not after pouring millions into security. Locate the individual accountable immediately. If this issue isn't resolved within 10 minutes, over 100 contracts will be at risk of collapse, he bellowed, his voice resonating while his eyes averted, filled with trepidation. In that moment of quiet, a girl stepped into the room. A girl of around 10 years, with flowing hair, dressed in a white shirt, and her eyes filled with intense focus. At first, she went unnoticed by everyone. She was merely the daughter of the concierge, that gentle soul who often went unnoticed. However, she was not there to engage in games. She arrived with unwavering resolve. The technicians were the first to notice her presence. One of them, bewildered, approached to expel her, yet found words eluding him. The young woman was already positioned before one of the computers, scrutinizing lines of code. Her fingers danced swiftly, as if she possessed an innate understanding of her quest. A supervisor approached suddenly. "Excuse me, may I ask what you believe you are doing?" "This is not a place for children," he declared, with a commanding authority. Yet the girl remained completely still. Her gaze remained fixed on the glowing screens. The CEO, teetering on the edge of a crisis, witnessed the scene and erupted in fury. "Who allowed that little troublemaker to enter? Remove this girl from the premises immediately," he yelled, but just as one of the guards was about to reach for her, a technician intervened, raising his hand to halt him. "Hold on, what you just accomplished is beyond belief," he murmured. The displays, one by one, started to link up again. For the first time in nearly 30 minutes, certain systems began to respond. All attention was focused on the girl. She turned slowly towards the technician, and with a calm yet assertive tone, stated that her code has a backdoor exposed in the Access API. It was detonated from within the internal network. It was not a system error. There was a presence in this space. The ensuing silence was hauntingly profound. The CEO stepped forward, grappling with the incredulity of the situation. The young woman glanced at the monitor once more, and entered a series of additional commands. A prominent figure emerged without delay. A user of the system. A reliable team member. The CEO's expression vanished upon witnessing the evidence. Every gaze was fixed upon him. How could that girl have known it before her own team of experts? "May I ask who you are?" one of the managers inquired, their voice quivering slightly. She rose from the chair, glanced down, and with a composed demeanor, stated, "I am the daughter of Mr. Giulio, the concierge. The very same one you chose not to allow entry through the main door. The very same one that your system manager deemed ineffective. I accompanied him each afternoon. As he tidied up, I observed. I gained knowledge. If you enjoyed the tale, please remember to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments." The CEO paused for a moment. He was baffled by how a girl had revealed a flaw that would set his engineers back for days. Just as he was about to respond, the internal security alarm blared to life. An attempt was made to eliminate the system records. Meanwhile, the footage captured a suspect darting down the back corridor of the building. The young woman gestured towards the display. "There goes the accountable one," And if they don't apprehend him now, he'll wipe everything clean and pin the blame on my father. All were immobilized. The concierge, freshly arrived, gazed at his daughter, tears welling in his eyes. Yet, the true nightmare was only starting to unfold. One of the managers elevated his tone, which remains uncertain. Shut down the system immediately. With that, the screens flickered off, plunging everyone into darkness. Shut everything down. Not a single word shall be uttered henceforth, he requested. The same manager with a shaky voice, as several employees glanced at the CEO, seeking guidance. The room was enveloped in silence, yet the atmosphere crackled with suspicion, tension, and fear. The concierge swiftly moved toward his daughter, grasping her shoulders, as though he aimed to shield her from the impending events. Yet she felt no fear. He maintained his gaze on those in charge, particularly on the group of executives who had, just moments before, overlooked his presence entirely. The CEO, clearly anxious, pulled out his phone. He strolled to a corner of the room, his voice barely above a whisper, yet it was clear to all that he was summoning someone of influence. The girl, her voice steady and resolute, shattered the stillness. Shutting off the cameras and deleting the records won't safeguard their company. They are poised to obliterate the final remnant of their credibility. All those gathered exchanged glances. No one dared to reply. The managers, once confident in their authority, now averted their gazes from her presence. The system supervisors quietly approached the concierge and whispered, "What his daughter accomplished is remarkable, but now they will seek to silence him. They fear that this will be revealed." The concierge, long accustomed to the quiet routine of mopping floors, gritted his teeth in frustration. After a lengthy period, he experienced the sensation of having something at stake. Not for him, but for her. In that moment, he declared resolutely, as his daughter gazed at him with admiration. The CEO ended the call and reappeared with a strained grin. It was merely a small setback. Exaggeration is unnecessary. He declared that everyone could resume their positions, attempting to steer the story in his favor. However, a woman from the legal field stepped up. That is simply not the case. The girl detected an unauthorized access, and we all witnessed it. If this gets out, and it appears we're attempting to conceal it, we might be looking at obstruction of justice charges, he stated. Fixing his gaze on the CEO, his complexion drained of color. Yet, a fresh calamity reverberated through the space. One of the engineers, shaking with anxiety, revealed that the suspect had erased a crucial component of the system prior to escaping. The losses were beyond measure. The CEO's face twisted. In rage, and with a cold gaze, he directed his attention to the concierge. "This situation is a result of your actions. Chaos was brought by you and your daughter. She ought to have never found herself in this place." All were paralyzed in place. He wasn't just placing blame on a girl. There was a palpable hatred in his voice as he did so. The girl bowed her head, though not in embarrassment. She was carefully considering each word at that moment. The legal woman addressed the group once more. "Her words are utterly baffling. Without her guidance, we would be completely lost on how to begin addressing this issue. I will bring it straight to the boards. Attention. It is no longer a mere technical failure. It has become a deliberate cover-up," he asserted, with unwavering resolve. All eyes were on the CEO. "I had lost all sense of control." The young woman advanced a step. "I am capable of restoring a portion of the system. I maintained a discrete automatic backup that went unnoticed by anyone. If I am granted access once more, I could accomplish it." However, he expressed the need for official support. Casting a glance at the lawyer, who was undoubtedly aware of the situation. "I give you my permission," he responded. The concierge extended his hand for a shake. At last, his daughter was recognized for her true worth. As the system was partially revived, the files started to reappear, one after another. The intrusion records emerged with clarity once more. The identity of the suspect has been verified. The individual in question was none other than the head of systems, who had departed the country 2 days prior, citing an emergency meeting as the reason for their abrupt exit. Every piece of evidence led back to him. The organization received formal notification, an inquiry, both within and outside the organization, was initiated. The CEO was promptly suspended. Weeks later, the concierge ascended to the role of supervisor of general maintenance, gaining access through the main entrance, following a direct recommendation from the legal department. His daughter was accepted into an exclusive program for young talents in cybersecurity, receiving a full scholarship. On the day the agreement was signed, every employee rose to their feet in applause for her. Even those who had once overlooked her, she simply stated, "Never judge a person by their appearance or background." The CEO encountered legal repercussions due to a cover-up and negligence, while the head of systems was apprehended overseas for corporate fraud. The company found its footing once more, yet it never reached that level again. The concierge and his daughter imparted a lesson that would be etched in memory for all time. One can never truly discern the identity concealed beneath the facade. Outward impressions may mislead, yet the principles of respect and dignity should remain steadfast and unwavering.